Hey guys, I'm Jake. Welcome to Nature Beings. Let's strike a balance because when there is an imbalance, we don't like it. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to strike a balance with the right ingredients and turn your hair loss into hair growth. So let me first start by sharing with you all that just like most of you who are watching this video, even I started losing my hair at the age of 32, and also my father is bald. So it was naturally imposed upon me that it is hereditary and you will go bald, but neither was I ready to accept this reason nor hair loss. Now, I'm a nutritionist. I've studied supplement science. So, I took it upon myself. I dug deeper into this problem and found out the actual cause of hair loss. And once I found the cause, I also found the solution, which I'm going to share with all of you today. Because most men suffer from the same issue of hair loss which I suffered from. That is male pattern baldness or androgenic alopecia. In this video, I am gonna show you live demonstration of all these products that I use myself even today, and I personally believe this is gonna help most of you who are watching this video. Alright guys, so before we move further to learn how to use these products for hair growth, very briefly, I want you all to understand the causes for that hair loss. Because if you don't know the cause, then you will keep on listening to random suggestion. Use that oil, use that lotion, or apply that treatment for hair growth. I mean, I have done it all. I've been there and done that. So after all that only, I did my research and found this solution. So that's why I want you all to understand the main causes so that you don't fall trap to unnecessary expensive solutions for hair growth. Now, hair loss can occur due to different reasons, like in case of autoimmune disorders or even the side effects of certain medication. But the most common type is basically androgenic alopecia, or what we call as male pattern baldness, or hereditary. Your father is bald, so you better be bald. Also, this does not mean that only men suffer from it. Even women can suffer from this condition. Alright, let's very briefly talk about the different causes. Number one is genetics. Almost 65% of men experience some degree of hair loss by the age of 55. So when we talk about genetics, what is this genetics? Let me explain that, because this is the most important part for you to understand if you want to grow your hair. So when we talk about genetics, the main culprit here is DHT, that is dihydrotestosterone. It is a hormone which is a metabolite of testosterone. As men, you all know that testosterone is our main hormone. So DHT is a derivative of testosterone. In a man's body, there is an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase type 2. The main job of 5-alpha reductase type 2 is to convert testosterone into DHT. Now, DHT is a very good, wonderful hormone because DHT is what gives us all these masculine features like muscle mass on our body and facial hair growth, thickness of voice, sexual desire, potency, male libido. All these are because of DHT. Now let's talk about DHT and genetics. So genetically, some men, mostly who lose their hair, in their case, the enzyme 5-alpha reductase type 2 is hyperactive, which means it converts excess testosterone into DHT. So their body have more DHT supply than required. So now we have all this excess DHT available in the blood. Where will that go? After being used for all the necessary function which I just described, the remaining DHT still needs to find some place. In a man's body, there are DHT receptors at various sites, like in our prostate gland, then in our skin, and on our scalp. And scalp is the most sensitive area. So in our hair follicles also we have DHT receptors. Now all this excess DHT floating in the blood start getting collected in the hair follicle DHT receptors, which causes inflammation. All that DHT is now occupying space in your hair follicles, because of which there is less space left for blood supply to go and provide necessary nutrient to that hair follicle. That leads to weakening of your hair, resulting in hair fall. And as I said, that DHT receptors are located on our skin as well. That's why men also get acne even after the adolescent age. I still get acne on my face sometimes. So because of the excess DHT floating. Sometimes I get acne, right? So this is how DHT works, the excess DHT. So I will tell you later how to control that DHT. What I did, I'll share it with you. Before that, let me first briefly touch few more causes. Now, excess estrogen in a man's body is also a reason for hair fall, because when there is excess estrogen, that also leads to overproduction of DHT, again leading to inflammation of hair follicle and hair fall. So, in a nutshell, the main problem of male pattern baldness, or your father is bald, that's why you're gonna be bald, the hereditary factor, the main cause is the excess DHT and excess estrogen. When we control that, we can reverse hair loss. Now, having said that, I also want to emphasize that you need to take action at the right time for all these remedies to work for you, because once you're beyond that stage of irreparable damage, when your hair follicles are dead, that time these remedies might not work for you. So when you start seeing the initial symptoms of hair loss, that is the time to take the action. All right guys, enough of all that causes. Now let me explain to you what are these ingredients and how they help me reverse my hair loss, and now you can see I have good hair on my head. Alright guys, so now I'm gonna show you step by step the protocol that I designed for myself, and it has worked for me and it is still working for me. I believe this will work for you also if you suffer from male pattern baldness. So the first thing on my protocol was to obviously control the DHT receptors on my scalp, and for that what I did from my research, what I found out was this shampoo called Nizoral 2%. This shampoo contains an active ingredient called ketoconazole, which is basically an ingredient that has shown the potential to block 60% of DHT receptors on our scalp. Alright, now I'm going to show you the live demo of how I use this shampoo. So this is Nizoral 2% shampoo. So shake the bottle nicely and then put it on your scalp. I use it 3 times a week, so that is almost every alternate day. When you put it on your scalp, make sure you have this lather formation and massage it throughout your scalp with your fingers like this, and then leave it for 5 minutes before you rinse it. Okay? Alright, so this shampoo was about controlling the DHT on the scalp. Now the next step in the protocol is to balance the testosterone conversion into DHT inside the body, and that can be done only by controlling the activity of 5-alpha reductase type 2 enzyme inside our body. And for that I have found two natural ingredients. Number one is this is called nettle leaves, and what I do with this is I drink nettle leaves tea. So in my green tea, I simply put like around 2 tablespoons of these nettle leaves, brew it for 3 minutes and then leave it in the water for 5 minutes after switching the stove off. Make sure to use only medium heat, no high heat. Now, nettle leaves have been widely used in treating the prostate problem because it slows down the production of DHT. There is a famous researcher by the name of R. Hartman showed in his research that extracts of nettle leaves were successful in blocking the enzyme 5-alpha reductase type 2 and thereby preventing the conversion of testosterone to DHT and thus stopping hair loss. Now, apart from controlling the conversion of testosterone to DHT, nettle leaves also have an additional benefit, and that is it also controls excess estrogen production in a man's body, and that way it creates that balance of hormone estrogen, testosterone and progesterone. So I personally drink 2 cups of nettle leaves tea every day, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I can say that it is working for me. And guys, for all these products, I'll provide the link in the description. You can use those links to get these products. It's also gonna support my channel when you click on those links. So I will be highly thankful to you. Alright, now moving further. Next important ingredient to specifically target the conversion of testosterone into DHT is saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is basically a plant with small berries on it and have been used for years, especially by the Native Americans for the purpose of medicine and food as well. Now, according to research, saw palmetto is the most effective herb in preventing the conversion of testosterone into DHT by inhibiting the enzyme 5-alpha reductase type 2. Researchers also claim that a long-term use of saw palmetto can prevent hair loss in both men and women by up to 60%. And from my personal experience, I can say that saw palmetto is actually effective and incredible. Alright guys, so that was about controlling those important hormones which can lead to hair loss, right? Now let's move on to the second important aspect of your hair growth, and that is providing strength to our hair follicles because they have gone weak due to inflammation caused by DHT. So now you need to re-energize them, re-stimulate them, supply that nutrient-rich blood into those hair follicles. And how do you do that? Well, what I personally use and which have been used since many years in this field of hair growth is minoxidil. In fact, minoxidil is one of only two FDA approved hair treatments for hair. So basically minoxidil was invented for the purpose of hypertension, and then it was discovered that it has a side effect, and that is excess hair growth. I mean, at that time it was considered a side effect, but for people who are losing hair, it turned out to be a positive effect. So minoxidil basically has shown the capacity to increase blood flow to hair follicles. It helps to promote delivery of oxygen and nutrients to these starving hair follicles. Alright guys, now let me show you how I use my minoxidil spray, so you just get to see a live demo. So this is my minoxidil that I use, and nowadays I use it like alternate days. So when I started, I used to put it every night before I go to bed. So like you just spray it on your scalp like this. But what is more important is that once you spray it, also massage it like for a good 5 minutes. Don't just spray it and leave it, When you massage it, it's better. It stimulates your follicles even more, and it gets inside your pores, and then just sleep. Okay guys, this is really effective and I have a personal experience with this. So that was my protocol for minoxidil. Let me now show you another magical ingredient which I simply love, and that is this beeswax and moringa paste. Now, moringa has the ability also to deactivate the DHT receptors in the scalp. And then I also had this oil, which is basically onion oil. Onion oil greatly helps to stimulate hair follicles, improving the blood supply to the damaged hair follicles. And this moringa paste also contains castor oil, cacao oil, which are wonderful for hair growth. Guys, this is seriously good. Now I'm going to show you the live demo how to effectively use this particular product. Alright guys, so the next thing that I use is this moringa and beeswax paste, and the other thing that I have is this onion oil. So usually I do this treatment at least 3 times a week. Once a week I use the onion oil, and twice a week I use this moringa paste. So now I'm just gonna do this paste today. Just what you have to do is make sure you massage it nicely on your scalp. Put it on your tips of your finger and just massage it gently for like good 5 minutes so that your scalp gets stimulation. And then after that we'll go inside and I'll show you how I use the heat cap to further help with this stimulation, because heat will definitely open up my pores, the hair follicles, and the beeswax and moringa paste will seep deeper into my hair follicle. So once I'm done with this massage, we'll go inside and put the heat cap. So this is my heat cap, and now I'm gonna wear it with this plastic cap first, like this, and just simply put this on, and we'll leave this on for half an hour. There's a switch here, I'll switch it on. So, half an hour is a good amount of time to stimulate the hair follicles, open the pores of my skin, and let that uh, paste of moringa and beeswax seep deeper into the scalp. Alright, so that was my live demo of this moringa paste or onion oil, whichever you want to use. And don't worry about that heat cap, the link will be there in the description for that as well, you can get it. And guys, let me tell you one thing. This protocol has really worked for me, and I personally believe, like I explained to you in the beginning, the causes, when you know the causes of the problem, you can find a solution. So this solution perfectly matches with that cause, that excess DHT in estrogen. Once you control that, you have the solution. Now let me also say that it's gonna take some time and effort. Don't expect the overnight result. It has taken me a long time with the help of these remedies to get my hair back. Alright guys, so I hope my protocol based on my personal experience gave you some right information that you were looking for. I sincerely wish that you try this remedy and save yourself from wrong reasons of hair loss. Just because it is hereditary does not mean that it is mandatory. Alright guys, see you next time. Till then, strike a balance.